So after the last video I made talking about the whole Ryan Drummond and Emi Jones situation, a lot of people have asked me why I didn't cover the more important things about the document. That being that there was a sexual, I won't say assault because Cess herself doesn't say assault, but sexual harassment claims that were made and how Emi Jones covered them up. Well, because that wasn't the point of the video, but I feel like at this point nobody else is really going to discuss it in much detail, so maybe I should be the one to. So in the last video I talked about how Lizzie Hedgehog, someone who again is very obsessed with Emi Jones, made a call out post about her back in October, saying that she had an affair with Ryan Drummond, the original voice actor for Sonic the Hedgehog in the Dreamcast era. Nobody cared because, as I said, Emi Jones as a person and Liz Hedgehog, they have a very rocky relationship where she just seems very obsessed with her, and a lot of people know this, so they just ignored what she said, and rightfully so. Well, unfortunately, someone by the name of the Starman Mars brought back up the situation earlier this week, once again saying, hey, this is actually true. Back all the way from October, it did in fact happen, and it really didn't matter and didn't need to be brought up, and we've talked about this before, and the Starman Mars has since apologized for even making that the first statement in this whole thing, because while there was some context as to why they brought that up first, it made the entire situation revolve around her opening statement that yes, Ryan Drummond and Emi Jones had sex, rather than this entirely much bigger scenario that should have been the focus. I did berate her on Twitter about it before because it's something that needs to be said, because seriously, how do you not think that saying these two popular creators in the Sonic community had sex and expect anyone to care about an 100-page document with so many screenshots and things that most people just aren't going to look at? Because if we're being real, unless you're a drama channel or you genuinely care about these creators, you're not going to go out of your way to look at this huge document going over all these little things, because in all seriousness, it's petty drama between the Sonic community. Anyone outside is not going to care, and even most people inside aren't really going to care about the personal issues of these creators. It's just when you could do a big headline like Emi Jones and Ryan Drummond did this, a lot of people are going to be drawn to that. And they were, which is why the whole of Twitter was laughing at the fact that this had happened, rather than the actual serious allegations. So what are those serious allegations? Well, Cess posted her own document going over both Emi Jones and Dorian Nelson. Now, Dorian Nelson is the bigger offender in this whole thing, as he, basically, the main point is that he was in this Cess girl's bed, and he was pressed up against her, he had his arm around her, it was all very weird and made her uncomfortable, and when she asked Emi Jones about this, who later confirmed that he indeed kissed her as well, apparently without her consent, that this was a big issue that they needed to resolve. But it basically ended up getting wiped under the table as Emi Jones began to cover for him, and it became this whole big situation of harassment between her and other people while she went offline and blocked everyone who wanted to talk about it. Now, while this is sad in its own right, what has recently come out just yesterday is that Emi Jones released a statement about all this, and instead of going over the entire thing with Cess, what everyone would actually care about, by the way, because this is a serious allegation to put on someone, she instead decides that I'm not going to cover that, but instead I'm just going to talk about the fact that yes, me and Ryan Drummond did in fact kiss, which, yeah, again, we all laughed about it as a big joke, but that was not the main crux that everybody wanted to know about. People were wondering about the sexual harassment, which she does not even mention within this. The only thing she was willing to talk about in this small statement is the fact that they did sleep with each other. But don't worry, guys, Ryan Drummond didn't use the voice, according to her. But I'm gonna be real with you, he probably did. This is just my speculation, you don't have to believe it, but I 100% believe she did, in fact, use the voice. I'm sorry, Ryan Drummond did use the voice. Like, it's such a small thing to lie about, but knowing her, she definitely would just lie about that because it embarrasses her. But for real, we all know he used the voice. It's okay, it's funny, we all laugh. But yeah, that's the only thing she's willing to talk about, and not the entire document that was made about her and how she covered up this sexual harassment. That, I don't know why. And this is also to go over the fact that she also commissioned some not safe for work art from this same person, but that isn't the big issue. The main thing is just her covering up this sexual assault, which is really sad because if you also remember, I made a video about the 100p situation that went on. So she's gone through something similar, but still throws Cess under the bus with all this stuff, to the point that Cess has actually tried to commit suicide, which is really sad at all of this. So I just wanted to go over a little bit of that's what happened. If you want to look at the document, it's linked in this video and it is linked in my previous video, so you can go over it yourself. There is way too much information for me to get out in one video and say this is what happened, this is what happened, because at the end of the day I don't want to take away from her. You can read the entire document yourself and go over it like I had to do, because it is a lot of stuff, and if you genuinely care, then you read it yourself. It's sad that this is the case, but this is how people are, and especially in the bigger Sonic community with the more popular creators, when they band together in a space, you can tell most of them are garbage, and that's just how it is. But you don't have to be like them. If you ever decide that you're going to be part of Sonic YouTube, try your best to not be like these people, because every minute it's drama with them, and it's always something deplorable. It's never just a small issue of someone said this and someone said that. It's always something huge like this. So it's really sad that this happened, and I hope she gets better with all this. I hear her husband's a good guy and he will likely be helping her as he always has done. So I hope everything works out for them. But people really need to hold Emi Jones more accountable to things, because I know a lot of you like her, whatever. I didn't personally care for any of her content. I don't like her covers. Sonic and Tails R was mediocre to me. I made a whole review of that, which she also commented on. So there's no big point for me here to defend her. There really isn't, because I don't care for her content. But I know a lot of people seem to really enjoy her stuff and will defend her, especially because she has the numbers to back it up. When it comes to a smaller creator who's only on Twitter, people will rally against them, and it's always who has the bigger numbers will win, despite the obvious flaws in the argument and who is actually right in the situation. But that's just what happens when you have more numbers. So I want to get this out there. More people should look at this up and see what Emi Jones is actually about, since she's not actually going to cover the serious allegations that people are making against her. Anyway, that's all I have to say for this video. You tell me what you guys think. Have you read the document? If you haven't, take a look at it. Anyway, I will see you guys in the next video, and I, as always, will say goodbye.